All right, how many people have been up and down this promenade this week listening to pontifications and gaseous conversations about AI? Raise your hands. All right, good. Well, welcome to another one. No, I'm just kidding. Our intention today is actually to get into the weeds a little bit. And who better to get into the weeds about AI than the organization Snowflake that is out there practicing on a daily basis. I don't know if you all know Snowflake, but it is the leading company that's getting value from your data inside of corporations. And what I have is the chief data geek, I think that's on his title, the chief product officer of Snowflake, and the individual who's orchestrating the work that Snowflake is doing into the bowels of so many companies. And look, my intention today really was to understand what's actually happening, what's working, what's not working, why, and et cetera. So I'm just gonna geek out with Christian Kleinerman. Yep. And I wanna see, let's start with something on the negative side.
Ooh. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning, Christian. What are people missing when they start an AI project and they end up biting them in the butt?
Yeah, we have a saying of there is no AI strategy without a data strategy. And what you see is that the companies that have been thinking about data as a competitive advantage for the longest time, they're the ones that can come and say, AI will help me with productivity, with rethinking jobs, with being more efficient. But in the what's missing category, many companies are in the AI is great, and then they don't know where the data is. It's stored in different silos. You don't know what your customer journey is across. So I would say a consistent data strategy, a high quality data estate.
I mean, what kind of companies have clean data? I hear about this clean data, and what kind of companies have traditionally cultivated clean data? What does it mean to do that?
It varies. We see those across industries, so it's not one industry is clean and the other ones are not. No, within every industry, there are some companies that are at the forefront, and all of you would think of them as the people that are leading and are outperforming their peers. Those are the ones that have clean data, so they thought of data as a competitive advantage.
Have you noticed anything about the leadership of companies where they've been data forward? In our research, I run a research institute of high-performing teams going through transformation. I didn't introduce myself, I'm sorry. I'm Keith Ferrazzi. I wrote a book years ago called Never Eat Alone. I've been 20 years of research studying high-performing teams. I find that leaders who have actually come from engineering tend to be much better leaders because they're constantly engineering the way the business works. Have you noticed any correlation in terms of leaders of organizations that have the cleaner data and understand the AI journey?
I think I would describe it as leaders that like detail, that want to understand how things work, how things don't work. Those are the ones that naturally look into measurement and metrics, which correlates probably with engineering backgrounds.
Now, I asked you at the beginning, like, who's getting bitten in the butt and what the problem is. And when we were chatting in the green room, you were mentioning a little bit about maybe reckless data or data that during this amazing opportunity where AI is finding information, et cetera, some of the data might get in the hands of people that it shouldn't be. Can you tell us a little bit about that warning?
Yeah, so for years, companies have spent a decent amount of energy making sure that the data is in a single place, but more important, it is secure, and it has compliance with regulation, with privacy. And I think in the last 12 months, a lot of people were like, oh, AI is easy. And then you hear all these horror stories where AI gave access to the wrong data to the wrong person.
Anything funny? Anything like, we would find amusing that you found horrifying?
I've heard of people shutting down projects overnight. They were so happy with the chatbot until the chatbot started giving information that it shouldn't. I'm not going to name names.
HR, violations, all those kind of things.
And by the way, this is self-serving to a degree, but that's when we come and say, we can help with that journey.
Yeah, it's like how much am I making versus my person sitting next to me. Well, to that end, I feel like there's been a big rush, of course, to try to get more value out of our pilots, and everyone's a little bit embarrassed that there's not enough results coming out of it. And I think probably data governance may have been put on the side for a bit, right? And I don't hear it that much. And what you're saying is it is important, and data governance and privacy needs to be at the forefront of what we're doing, not just as an afterthought.
That's right. And those that think about it up front are the ones that have good results. Those that didn't think about it are the ones that like go, oh,
Does it slow us down? Do we have to slow down in order to do this?
Great
Or just hire
question.
Snowflake so that we can make sure that we do it right fast?
No, great question. We're happy to help with the acceleration of the data journey and governance, but they are not at odds with each other. You can have amazing value for your organization with data without compromising on security or privacy.
So let's get into the weeds of an actual client. Like, can you tell us anybody that in looking back over the year or two, they've gotten blow-away results, something that'll inspire us to say this is possible and it's not just a bunch of BS?
Yeah, we have many successful stories from great companies, but I'm going to call out AstraZeneca.
Okay.
They're a Snowflake customer. They're leveraging both data as well as AI. And the speed at which they're delivering data products is through the roof. With AI, it went from months to hours. Mm-hmm. That comes with a dollar saving, $10 million.
Months to hours to
months
do what?
To create data products, to say, I am going to understand this clinical trial or this development.
Yeah.
Just the pipelines, the processing used to take a long time. Now it's hours. But I think what you like is
Give me the
what?
results. Yeah.
They have an AI-powered chest X-ray analysis, and the survival rate for lung disease has improved by 90%. Okay. That's something all of us should be like, wow, the impact of AI is here and is benefiting all of us.
Fantastic. You know, it's if you look at the processes that have been most impacted by AI, I believe that for quite some time, R&D has been a big one, to be able to take the R&D process and shrink the cycle times for R&D. I think there's a lot of promise in supply chain, but I'm not sure I've heard a lot of outcomes in the supply chain area, and then more recently in customer service and call centers, those kind of things. Can you point to any particular categories where you are smelling if that you should be on faster, sooner, better?
Yeah, so for sure, the two that you call in the premise are impressive. Like the code generations, the code assistance for engineering, that thing is materially changing how at least technology products are being developed. Mm-hmm. That's through the roof. Customer experience seems like a narrow category, but at the end of the day, what's happening there is take a lot of data, synthesize it, and make it available to a knowledge worker. And that is happening. But I think the most interesting one, since you're asking, okay, what's coming, I would say enterprise workflows are being redefined based on AI.
That's a big word. What do you mean by that? Take me into being a worker somewhere.
Think of invoice payments.
Okay.
Or order reconciliation. Like the simplest of operations that companies go through, we are seeing great success of companies saying, I am going to delegate this to an agent, an AI agent. And of course, there's always the human in the loop. If you cannot easily resolve it, you can escalate to a person. But the efficiencies are there for every company. You know,
it's interesting. In talking to I'm a venture partner at a company called Lightspeed, and I coach their portfolio companies, talking to these young executives who are AI first. One particular company that's $2 billion with 12 people. And when you talk to this young man who's created this company, he says, I figure out what AI can do, and then I only add people to make sure that that's happening and to complement it, knowing that the person, once that AI is done and getting it done, the person's gonna move. Versus most large corporations are like, I got all these people, how does AI help them? Yeah. Right? And so this idea of assuming a blank sheet of paper where AI can do everything is a very different mindset than saying, how does AI bolt into a human that I currently have? Which might be some of the reasons they're getting slower returns.
Correct. And the other thing that it's important for everyone to reflect on is why are processes defined the way they are today? In many instances, it's just legacy. Once you go to the essence of what you're trying to do, it's simpler And AI gives us the opportunity to rethink those business processes and just go and simplify it.
Yeah, well, you're not allowed to give a commercial here, but I'll give you a commercial in terms of Sridhar. I know well. I've interviewed him.
Our CEO.
Yeah, your CEO at the Wall Street Journal CEO conference. Just a brilliant guy, good heart. And I would imagine you all would be a great Sherpa through the process. But with that in mind, I see us blinking red, which means that this little journey of ours today is probably concluded. So thank you all very much. Appreciate
Thank you,
your time.
Keith. Thank you, everyone.
Christian.